Hudsy's made a video recently where he ranks every slosher based on how fun he thinks they are. If you haven't seen it, I highly advise you go watch it. It's a very cool video. But it got me thinking that I should probably do the same thing. But instead of ranking sloshers, I'm going to be ranking my class. And my class, of course, is the Brellas, my favorite class. So, yeah, without further ado, why don't I rank how fun Brellas are? Of course, if you disagree with any of my placements, that's totally fine. This is just my own personal opinion. However, if you disagree with what I think the best Brella is, I will kill you. Let's go! Starting us off, we have Splat Brella. Now, this is a weapon that recently got buffed, and before the buff, I wouldn't really think much of this weapon. I always thought that the concept was really cool, and that the weapon itself had a lot of potential to be one of the most interesting and fun weapons in the game. But because of how weak it was, it just kind of fell off, especially once it got nerfed in Splatoon 2. Splatoon 3 just didn't do it any favors. But recently, the buff really changed the weapon, and it has a lot of identity now and is so much more satisfying to use. Like, it has a really, really satisfying paint output that makes it, like, just such a pleasant weapon to play. And, like, that's not even to mention the sound design. I think the sound design on this weapon is an underappreciated aspect of Splat Brella. Shooting feels really nice, hitting pellets feels good enough, but it's when you hit multiple shots that it really, really shines, I think. So yeah, I think that's really, really good. Sprinkler as a sub-weapon is obviously not like a super strong sub-weapon, but I don't think it needs to be. And what I like about Sprinkler on Splat Brella is that it helps it be the support weapon that it wants, while also not being that ink hungry. So you just throw it down and it serves you some utility, so you can, like, you don't need to waste your ink tank every like 5 seconds during the match. You don't need to use it a lot, and I think that's really good on a weapon like Brella that is ink hungry. And strikes are, like, honestly, I don't think they're the most fun special in the game, but on Brella they work really, really well. They allow it to do stuff that it really, really wants to do, and that just, like, the synergy with the main weapon is what makes it fun, not the special itself. The kit, like, as a whole, is strong and satisfying to use, but, like, I've seen some people on the internet say that, like, Splat Brella is just this sit back and paint spam weapon, and I understand why they think that. I don't think people really understand. People who don't play Brella really understand just how insane of a painter this weapon is. It is so good, but it's not just a painter. This weapon is pretty good at fighting. Like, if you're not fighting with this weapon, you're not getting the most out of it. It can sit back and paint, and sometimes it does do that, and it should be doing that, but that's kind of boring. Brella, the entire idea behind Brellas is that they have a shield, and this shield isn't that weak. Like, it's a pretty decently balanced shield, and it helps it fight a lot. So if you're not fighting, you're not getting the most out of the weapon, and you're not playing it as fun as I think it could be. This weapon is insanely good. I don't think it's, like, super, super strong competitively. I think it's good. I think it's usable, and we could be seeing it pretty soon. But, you know, overall, it's a really fun weapon. I like it, and it's going in that tier. Yay! Next up, we have Sorella Brella. The Sorella Brella obviously has the same benefits of the main weapon of Splat Brella because it is literally the same main weapon. So, like, that's already doing it a lot. It's already made the weapon a really fun weapon to play. It's just a good time overall. This weapon is a bit more aggressive because it has Autobomb and Inkjet. Autobomb, I think, before the Brella change was so much better than Sprinkler was for it, because, like, this weapon wanted to fight more. But nowadays, I think Sprinkler is better, and some people might be confused as to why I think that. This goes hand in hand with both how good the weapon is and how fun it is. Autobomb is really good, and it's a tool that definitely helps it fight, but at the same time, it's pretty ink costly, and you're going to be using Autobomb a lot more frequently than you will be using Sprinkler. So you're just constantly down that ink, and for a weapon as ink hungry as this, using Autobomb alongside you in a fight means that you're going into a fight with less ink than you usually would have if you just had Sprinkler. And I think that's, like, not only bad for it competitively, but also just because the weapon is so ink hungry, the downtime is what holds it back from being really fun. If I was able to use the weapon more, then it would be more fun. That's not to say it's like bad. I like autobomb in this thing. It's just that's one of the downsides that it brings. Its utility is nice, its location, its chip damage, and like you can get kills with it every once in a while. I don't think I've gotten a kill with autobomb directly in a little bit, but you know, it does happen, and the enemy team needs to be aware of it, and I think that's fun. Inkjet is arguably where this weapon shines the most. Inkjet, I don't know if you know this, but if you know anything about me, you probably do. Inkjet is one of my favorite special weapons in all of Splatoon. I love it in Splatoon 3. This special is so fun and so cool. I don't really have much to say about this special. Like, it is a bit weaker, a lot weaker now than it used to be. However, I don't really think that makes it less fun, a bit less satisfying. You're not going to be getting, like, quads with this special like you used to be able to get away with back in the day when this thing was arguably overpowered. But it's still a fun special. I love it. It's good on Splat Brella. I think this is where the kit shines, and it's what makes it so fun. But overall, like, this kit is way more aggressive than Splat Brella is, and Brella as a main weapon just wants to be a bit more supportive now, so it's not as fun. Because of that, I'm going to have to put it in good fun. That's where it's going, that's where I'm putting it. If you disagree with me, cool. Moving on. Tenta Brella. Tenta Brella, oh my god. This weapon is so rewarding to play. If you know anything about me, you know that I'm a Tenta Brella main. Like, my main weapon is Tenta Brella. And that's because, like, it's a difficult weapon. This is a hard weapon to learn. But oh my god, is it so rewarding. You can get away with so much. Its playstyle is really unique. And if you, like, learn how to play that, it feels so good. And the payoff for putting time into the weapon is just something I feel more people should try getting into, like, appreciating. It is really nice. Not to mention, it also has a very satisfying one-shot. Like, you one-shot people up close. It feels nice. It doesn't have the sounds that, like, a wiper or blaster have when you one-shot, but it's still really nice. Now, Vanilla Tenta Brella has a pretty unique playstyle because it has beacons and ink vac. Pretty supportive. Beacons, I don't have much to say. They're nice utility, and I like them on this weapon. It's kind of fun, but you don't really do much with them, so I can't really give it that much credit. Now, Vacuum. Vacuum is really funny. Vacuum is another one of my most favorite specials in the game. It's a lot weaker than Inkjet, but it's kind of bullshit, and you can do some really silly things with it. Ink vac is really, really silly and bullshit, and I just have so many laughs using this special, especially with Tenta Brella, where you can just, like, shield and then ink vac, especially on Rainmaker. Just watch this video right here if you want to know what I'm talking about. Yeah, really funny. With all that combined, makes me put it up here in really fun. Tenta Sorella Brella. The first thing you gotta know about this weapon is that it is so insanely strong. Ink Mine and Trizuka, put them together on Tenta Brella. If you know anything about Tenta Brella, you're instantly like, holy shit, that is such a good kit. And yeah, it is. And that's like, part of the fun of the weapon is it's strong. And it's like, not that difficult to learn. The kit, like the weapon obviously is, but the kit isn't that difficult to learn. So it's way more consistent than V-Tent with having Zuka instead of Vac and all that. But like, yeah, this thing really, really strong. And that makes it satisfying to play. It makes it fun. And mines give it nice utility that I think are interesting and is nice to play around. It makes it a bit more interesting to play. But other than that, this doesn't make it not a fun weapon to play. I just don't think it has as much identity or personality as the other tent kits outside of being really good. It can't do funny interactions like Vanilla Tent can, and it's not as unique as the CRE-M kit. But it's still really fun regardless. Just not as fun as the others, so I'm going to put it in really fun, but underneath the other two. Yeah, that's where it's going. Tenta Brella CRE-M is the best Brella in the game, if you know anything about me. I've said that like 3 times this video, but recently people have known me as the Cumbrella guy. I love this kit so much. Um, yeah. Nobody understands me, and if you came to this video and you got to this part, and you know me, you're probably expecting me to explain myself. You're not gonna get a satisfying answer. I'm sorry, there's just some things you can't explain. What I can explain is that this thing has a really, really funny nickname. If you don't understand where Cumbrella comes from, I get it. See, I didn't mean to do that, but it's funny. It's because typical naming conventions, you take the first letter of the kit and then put it on what like the weapon is. Like Rapid Blaster Deca would be D-Rapid, Drapid. We take the C from CRE-M and put it on Umbrella, because that's what like Tenta Brella is supposed to be, is an umbrella, tent, umbrella. You put those two together and you got Cumbrella. And it's fitting because it is a white weapon named CRE-M, which makes it even more funny. And when you're using super chumps, you can obviously be like, I'm chumping, and it's really stupid, but it works well. And it has the best nickname in the entire game, in my opinion. If you've never heard that nickname before, I am sorry for burdening you with that, but I am also really, really happy that you know about it now. And this is obviously the weakest tent kit in the game. There's no getting around that. Toxic Mist Super Chump is just such a weak kit. Put that on anything, and pretty much nothing in the game would like that. But on Tenta Brella, it makes it very unique. If you didn't know, Toxic Mist is the first throwable sub that Tenta Brella has ever had. Arguably, you could say that Splash Wall was throwable, but not really. You just, like, throw it out. You can't actually aim where you're throwing it, so that doesn't count. Mist is, like, the first throwable sub, and I think that's really cool. It gives it a little bit of utility, but the thing about Toxic Mist on this thing is, yeah, they reduced how much ink it costs to use it, but nowadays, the whiting frames on it are ridiculous. And on a weapon as ink hungry as Tenta Brella, it's kind of not fair that other stuff, like Splash, has it. That thing can spam that shit, but CRE-M Tenta Brella doesn't really want to throw its mists a lot. Of course, you can do some BS like I did in my CRE-M video, where I just ran a bunch of Inksaver sub and spammed it, but that's what makes it fun, in my opinion. And so, like, this weapon, well, it's extremely difficult, but arguably the most rewarding, because, like, the kit does it no favors. If you get good at this, it is because you were good at it, and you learned, you're an expert at your craft, and that's what makes it so fun, in my opinion. So, obviously, it's going up here. It's literally called the Cumbrella tier, so what were you expecting? Yeah. Undercover Brella. It kind of lost its identity when Brella got buffed. This thing used to be like the painting support thing, but like it doesn't even have that now because Brella got that, so that's not really cool. The idea behind Undercover Brella, where you're able to shoot while having your canopy open, is interesting, and I definitely think it could work. However, it's really hard to do right, and after Kunder fell out of relevancy in Splatoon 2, this thing has been struggling to find that balance and identity, and that kind of sucks, because it could be cool, but it's just not really that cool right now. And a lot of that has to do with its kit. Mines don't do anything for this. Sure, you can trap people, but you kind of need to get into position for that. And the weapon is so weak that can't really do that by itself. It needs a sub-weapon to actually do that. And so, like, it's just not satisfying. You're rarely ever going to be able to use mines in a way that feels good. It sucks. And Slider's doing this thing nothing too, because this thing can't really benefit off Slider. Sure, it's got a shield, but that thing would either, like, A, not come up in time, or get shredded instantly. And Slider just puts you in a lot of bad situations. It can be a useful special, but just on Undercover Brella, it's not doing anything. I feel bad for putting it down here, but because of all that, it's just going in not fun. It's not fun. I'm sorry. Undercover Sorella Brella, on the other hand, has torpedoes. And torpedoes help this thing out so much. Torpedoes carry this kit. And I'll get to why in just a second, but like torpedoes, they help the thing fight, they help it get in, they help it do stuff. This weapon can actually do something sometimes. It's not completely helpless without Slider, and even then Slider just sucks. So like, you can actually like you have a bit more options, and that just makes it so much more fun to play. With that being said, though, the reason that Torpedo is carrying this kit is because it is also being anchored by Splatter Color Screen. I'm not going to get into why Splatter Color Screen is like a controversial special. Go watch Droid's video on that, but this thing doesn't work very well on Undercover Brella. I can see like how it would help it get in close without being seen, but then the main weapon's not really able to capitalize off of that, and it doesn't even combo. The damage does not combo. If someone gets hit by Splatter Color Screen, you still need to hit them twice, which I know like most of the time you need to hit them at least 3 times with all of your pellets hitting, so like it gets rid of that once, but it doesn't even do the Brella combo. You can't even get hit with Splatter Color Screen and then like be shot at by an Undercover Brella and bumped with the shield. That still doesn't kill, and that is so unsatisfying. I don't think you guys have any idea. Just the fact that this main weapon can't do that combo that the other Brellas can sucks, and then not even being able to do it when somebody gets hit with Splatter Color Screen is so stupid. It's so... I wish it had like literally any other special. Give it Wave Breaker. I don't care. Splatter Color Screen anchors this thing so hard. So like it's only more fun than the bottom of the barrel of Ink Mine and Slider because of Torpedo. So just because of that, it's going in okay. I cannot put it any higher, and I'm not putting it any lower because Torpedo actually works on this weapon and is fun to use. It's one of the most fun sub-weapons in a vacuum in the game, so it's just going in okay. Patternz Undercover Brella. This weapon is so much more fun than I expected. With how bad the Undercover Brellas have been doing, being not fun and okay, this thing was surprising. I kind of went into it expecting like, okay, I can see this. I can see like why this would be fun. One thing I didn't really talk about with the other 2 Undercover Brellas is how frustrating it is to actually move with this weapon. It doesn't paint a long enough line for you to move that much, and it doesn't paint its feet well. It just struggles to move, which is where curling bombs really help. It just completely alleviates that frustration that I had playing the other Undercover Brellas, because now I can actually move, and I can move fast, and it also helps it paint a little bit. Like Undercover Brella with curling bomb, it helps it paint and it helps it move, and it's just so nice. I don't really know how else to describe that. And whales, they're not like the best special to have on Undercover Brella, I don't think, but like they get a decent enough amount of whales, and they're easy to use and feel nice. They actually allow Undercover Brella to do something. Like, oh my god, is it nice to have a special on Undercover Brella that actually allows it to do something. Slider's bad, Screen's bad, whales are surprisingly good, and they feel nice. I don't usually like having whale on a weapon, but I don't mind it on Undercover Brella. This is actually a weapon that feels useful and is surprisingly fun. Like the other Undercover Brellas, the only reason I would pick them is kind of for their shock value and just to be completely stupid. But this is like something that I would just pick up to have fun normally, which is surprising to me. I didn't expect Undercover Brella to do that, but like this kit just makes it shine so bright for no reason. So yeah, because of that, good fun, good weapon. Well, maybe not competitively, but I would recommend giving this weapon a shot. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but yeah, play Patternz Undercover Brella. It's nice. It feels good. Recycled Brella 24 Mark 1. If you're one of my close friends, you probably know that I've been a D1 recycled Brella hater since this thing launched. I've always hated this weapon. I didn't think it made sense being in the game. I think its gimmick is kind of annoying, and it was annoying to me that it got Brella's 90 damage, but more consistent, and that kind of just frustrated me, and it still does kind of frustrate me, but like, after the Brella rework, I get it more now. I'm not as much of a hater. I still don't think this weapon is that I think people like hype it up too much. I think people think it's a lot cooler than it is. But like, it's fine. This weapon is enjoyable. I enjoyed playing it at the very least. It's strong enough to feel alright to play. Like having 90 damage that you can get pretty consistently feels pretty consistent, and that's just nice. That's good to have. However, what makes this weapon frustrating is if you fight any of its counters. If you fight any blaster at all, if you fight any sword, if you fight any bow, buckets kind of suck. Rollers also suck to fight with this thing, from my experience. If you run into any of those, and it is a long catalog list of weapons that kind of counter this weapon, it's frustrating. Like, it's not completely helpless because it is strong enough to be able to do something. It just doesn't feel good to run into these things. But yeah, with that being said, Marker as a sub-weapon, while I don't use it much on this weapon, it's nice to have. It serves utility. Location is obviously fine, and it combos with the weapon. Like if you shoot somebody and they run away farther than you can reach, and you hit them with a marker, obviously that's satisfying. Marker kills are always the best. And then like Big Bubbler is already fine enough of a special, but what's fun on this kit is because you get to launch your shield so fast, and it's like, it moves up fast and it paints the trail for you. You can go in with the shield and then pop a bubble, and I think that's really funny and really cool at the same time. But other than that, it's like not a super fun special to use, but it's nice. It's nice. One thing I will say about this weapon, though, is some of you are probably going to find this a bit surprising, but I do not like the sound design. I don't think it sounds good. It just sounds too... Ooh, it feels like it hurts in a bad way. And I get why it sounds like that, I just don't like it. But I did enjoy playing this weapon a lot more than I expected despite that. So, pretty nice. It's a pretty nice weapon. It's fun, just not that fun. But it is fun. Recycled Brella 24 Mark II. This is the evil twin of Mark 1. Because Toxic Mist doesn't give it the utility that Angle Shooter has. It can trap, that's fine. The weapon kind of likes that, but I don't think it's very fun. And whereas Bubble was kind of silly, it had like silly forms of bullshit, Splashdown on this weapon just feels too bullshit and too janky for me to really appreciate. It's nice to like secure a kill or to trade, and it has that going for it, but it's not a super fun special to use. You just press the button. It's cool, but it's not fun. And on this weapon, I think it's just not very cool. Too bullshit. Yeah. And outside of that, outside of the main weapon, this kit doesn't offer it anything unique. It's not really special. And I don't really have anything else to say about this weapon. I don't really like it that much, but it's still Recycled Brella. It's still kind of satisfying because of how strong it can be. So, okay, that's where it's going. Yeah, this is the final result of my Brella tier list. Of course, a bunch of people are going to disagree with me. I have some pretty divisive takes. Overall, I don't think like my takes are that bad. Maybe outside of Recycled, I know people love that weapon a lot. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments. Let me know what your favorite Brella is, and let me know why. Like, I would love to hear feedback from you guys. I want to know, like, Brella players out there. What's your favorite Brella? But yeah, this is just my opinion. Overall, the Brella as a class as a whole is just really fun. Like, every single weapon in this class is at least a little fun, and outside of vanilla Undercover Brella, they all have something fun about them. And it's like, it's a pretty top-heavy list. Look at that. It's top-heavy. It's a fun class. Play Brellas. Yeah. Bye-bye!